Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Marvel Crisis Protocol for the channel. Very much getting back into the game after a long hiatus. In fact, I finally got around to starting to work on the newer starter set to get through the models that came in that, so hopefully we'll be seeing those relatively soon. Let's focus on today though. We have an 18 threat match between the Defenders and X-Force on the table you can see before you, so let's go take a look at both sides. Here are your Defenders for today, being led by Doctor Strange to the lower left. To his left, our screen right, we have Iron Fist, we have Hawkeye, and then at the back we have Immortal Hulk, which is probably my favourite big model for the game. They can't quite balance high threat characters right, with Immortal Hulk not being an exception, but I really like his model, it's so good. Anyway, there are tactics cards. If we scroll up, and by which I mean down, because of the way I have to move this tripod, we have their tactics cards: Seven Sons of Cinnabis, Heroes for Hire, One Below All, Gamma Drain, and Indomitable. So only 4 models in the Defenders list, but there's 5 in the X-Force, being led by Cable, of course, and bringing along Wolverine, Psylocke, Honey Badger, and Deadpool. Not much else to say about them. And if we scroll down, I might have to read these out because I think they're a little bit overly reflective. But we have Cat and Mouse, which will be coming into effect at deployment, Dirty Work, Pretty Sneaky Sis, Psionic Constructs, and Crimson Dawn. And here is both Crisis cards being played. The Extraction is Fear Grips the World as Worthy Terrorized Citizens, so it's the 4 hammers, and the Secure is Portals Overrun City with Spider People. Both use the same deployment type for the objective markers, so the hammers are slightly offset just to show where they are. We'll see them in a second. 1 victory point for each hammer you're holding in the cleanup phase, but it makes playing tactics cards 1 more expensive, but you also get 1 extra die on your attacks. For the Spider People, it is Inheritor Portals. You roll dice equal to your energy defense, and as long as it contains more hits, crits, and wilds than there are healthy enemy characters around contesting it, you take control of it. If you roll at least 1 skull, whether you take control of it or not, you get placed within 2 by the opponent, because the spider person grabs you, I guess, and moves you around. So we can just quickly go shaky cam just a little bit, pull back. So, it's a bit reflective, but yes, there's a hammer and a portal there, hammer and a portal to the right, hammer and portal to the left, and over at the other side of the deployment zone as well. So with that, we'll be back after a brief word from our channel sponsor. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. So we're all set up and good to go. Defenders to your left and the X-Force to your right. Defenders will be going first, although they do have a pass because of having 1 less overall. You can basically see where everyone is. We've got Immortal Hulk, we've got Stephen Strange roughly in the middle of their deployment, and then up at the top we have Iron Fist and Hawkeye. And then over to the right you can just about, if we just move a little bit there, we've got Psylocke down here, Deadpool and Honey Badger are on the opposite side of the Dormammu portal thing, and then at the very top of the board we have Wolverine and Cable together as well. Now Cat and Mouse will be getting played, so one of them will be moved forward. Well, I guess we should probably show that before we jump into the first activation for Defenders. So we'll be back with that once the movement is done. So there's the card, there's the text. If you're interested, it's just an X-Force character can play this for free at the start of the game to be placed within 2. During their activation they can only move once. Cable has made use of it, which should hopefully come into focus. There we go. So he's deployed up front. He can always phase as well, so he has other alternative methods of being placed differently, so he's probably the best bet to have that on them. Anyway, over to the first actual activation. So it was the big bad Immortal Hulk that got the game started. He gets 2 extra power in the power phase, so he starts with 3, which he made use of. He just did 2 small moves, but he's on a giant base, so he can still cover quite a lot of distance with that. Then he spent 1 power to pick up the red extraction, which is a hammer in this case. So he's holding a hammer for some extra dice on his attacks, etc. Then he paid a 2nd power to try and convert this Inheritor Portal, Spider Portal. That's his roll there on his energy defense. Pretty decent roll, all things considered, and that's the symbol we'll be using for showing that the Defenders are holding the portal. No skulls rolled, so he doesn't get forcibly moved, which means he's going to be very hard to shift off of that. So unfortunately this is about the best angle we can manage for this, but Cable was first to activate for the X-Force, moving up to within 1 of the hammer and the spider portal over there. paid one of his 2 power, because he gets 1 extra power in the power phase, to pick up the hammer, so he's now holding 1. Then he paid the next to try and convert that portal to X-Force. His roll has been placed on top of the newsstand there, so I hope you can see it. The crit means that he has indeed captured it, so it is 1-all on the portals. Doctor Strange was next up for the defenders, activating and moving medium but staying within 1 on the far side of the objectives closest to where he began. Paid the 1 power he starts with from the power phase to pick up the hammer. Then he moved medium again, putting him here to apply pressure on Cable in turn 2. He didn't have any power to try and convert this close portal, so that's going to be down to Iron Fist or Hawkeye to get that done. Psylocke activated for X-Force, moved up a medium twice, then paid her 1 power to try and convert the portal that Immortal Hulk had claimed earlier in the round. That is her roll. She succeeds because she rolled more than the number of healthy characters, that being 1 obviously, but she did also get a skull, so she's being placed within 2, by which we mean over here, behind the rock, and the portal does convert though, so that's now X-Force with both the claimed ones being under their control. Next up was Hawkeye. Clint moved up medium twice to get to the portal that Strange started next to, paid 1 power, and he only rolls 2 for his energy defense. Unfortunately, it's not his forte, but he did get 1 success. There's no one around to contest, so he has claimed that closest portal, and he's as far away from it as he can get with still being able to contest. He's exactly range 1 away. And these Dormammu portals do just keep getting in the way, huh? Anyway, Deadpool activated. He moved up medium and is stopping at the closest 2 objectives. He's paying his 1 power and he interacted with the portal. There's his roll, which means he has claimed it for the X-Force. He only has the 1 power though, so the hammer is just going to be sitting there for now. And then for his other action, he just moved up medium again over there. Final activation of the first round for the defenders was Iron Fist, and it's fair to say it was a mixed bag for him. He moved up medium, and then that put him within range 3 of Cable to use his flying kick. Range 3, he gets placed within 1 after it resolves, and it generates 1 flat power. He rolled 4 successes on the 4 dice he rolls for that, and Cable rolled 0 successes on his defense. So he managed to take 4 of his 7 health from a 4 dice attack, which is beyond embarrassing for the poor person, and is indicative of perhaps how the dice rolls are going to go for the rest of the game. That said though, Iron Fist then spent the 1 flat power he generated from that flying kick to try and convert the spider portal that Cable converted earlier on in the turn. His roll is just to your left there. He rolled a blank, a hit and a skull, and he needed more than that because Cable is still there and still conscious. So he did not convert the portal, and he is being pushed back or harassed backwards, range 2 to over back there. So not great in terms of how much damage Cable took from there obviously, but he did manage to hold the portal. And now it is over to Wolverine and Honey Badger. Of those 2, it was Logan to activate first. He moved medium to get him next to the portal and the hammer that were closest to his deployment zone. He paid his 1 power and has taken the hammer. Then he moved up medium again to go where you can see him to where I've noticed a trend with where the X-Force are going. They seem to be gravitating away from where Immortal Hulk is. I can't possibly imagine why. And finally, Honey Badger only used 1 of her actions to position herself where you can see her. She's just trying to hold down that home objective. I presume anticipating Immortal Hulk heading in that general direction, so you can't just insta-cap the back portal. But I guess we'll see. That takes us to the end phase of the first round though, so it's time to tally some points. So at the end of battle round 1, the points are thus: the defenders have 2 of the hammers, Doctor Strange has 1, and Immortal Hulk has 1. Hawkeye is holding the portal closest to their deployment zone, meaning they have 3 VP at the end of the first round. The X-Force have the other hammers, so that's 1 on Logan, 1 on Cable, and that's it. There's 4 hammers. Did there used to be more? Either way, that's 2 victory points there, and more importantly, they hold the other 3 portals, so the one that Immortal Hulk is next to, the one that Honey Badger is next to, and the one at the very top of the table between the statue and the newsstand that Cable is currently holding. So that means they have scored 5. So 5 playing 3 in X-Force's favour going into round 2, with the defenders taking first activation. Well, perhaps unsurprisingly, Immortal Hulk got round 2 started. We're going to have to move the camera a little bit to cover what he did, because he actually cleared a lot of distance. He started down here, of course. He immediately paid 1 power to try and convert this spider portal. there is his roll. He succeeded, so it is now under Defender's control. He then paid 3 power for Gamma Leap to be placed within 2. His first actual action was then a move action, small, which got him where he was. Now, as a quick correction, also apologies for the interruption there, Honey Badger can't contest or hold objectives or anything like that, so her staying there has actually just made her sacrifice herself for no reason. It doesn't affect anything that happened because Logan took the hammer and Deadpool converted the portal. It's just her standing there does not make it harder to claim because she can't contest. Either way, Hulk landed here. He still had 1 actual action left, so he did his basic strike plus 1 die for the hammer he's holding and walloped Honey Badger in the face. I think it was 8 dice against her defense. Managed to do 5 damage, which was enough to bring her from fully healthy to fully dazed, so she will not be activating this round. With the power he generated from that, 5 power, he paid 1 of it to try and convert the portal she was not actually helping protect. He got 1 success, which is enough because there's no one there. So that is now also under Defender control. So you might notice the battlefield has changed slightly. That's because Cable was the first one to activate for the X-Force. For his first action he moved, so he had Doctor Strange and Iron Fist within 1. Then he spent on his big spender Askani Son. Apologies if that's not how it's pronounced. 7 dice, normally 8 because he had a hammer. Attacking both Doctor Strange and Iron Fist with it, and as long as it does damage he heals 1 on each attack. Now, that's great. He did manage to do some damage to each of them, so he's healed 2 of the damage he received in the first turn from Iron Fist's 4 dice attack. But he only did 1 damage to each of them with Askani Son, which is very below par, especially because he was rolling 1 extra die than normal. So, not great. Dice not in the X-Force's favour, and that is also including the X-Force's reroll. Not going to mention it every time it is happening. So, he did that. He healed 2, so, you know, that's a thing. He still had 3 power left, so he spent that on his Omega level mutant power, whatever it's called. He can pick a bit of terrain up to the value he spent, I think, and throw it. So he spent 3, he picked up the newspaper stand, chucked it into Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange whiffed on his dodge roll, to be fair, and has taken 3 damage. But he still gets to activate, assuming he goes soon, and he has the ability to heal himself, so it's not that terrible, and he had to blow all his power to get just that done. So of course Doctor Strange did activate to kind of mitigate some of that damage done there, spending to heal himself with Oster's Refuge, 3 power for 3 heal, so he still got 1 damage on him. Then he attacked with his basic attack into Deadpool, plus 1 die because of the hammer he's holding. Only managed to do 1 damage to Deadpool. We're going to have to pull back slightly to see him because it does involve a push, an optional push, which he has opted to use to shove him next to a very angry Hulk. For his other actual action, he moved next to the spider portal over there. He paid his 1 power to try and convert it, and his roll is right there. He got 1 hit, 3 blanks, and because Cable is still there and very much on his healthy side, that isn't good enough. So he couldn't convert it. He only did 1 damage to Deadpool. He healed himself, I guess, so there is that, but not a fantastic activation there. So Deadpool activated for X-Force next. He started on the right of your screen and ended up on the left of your screen. He spent 2 on You Can't Spell Legendary Without Leg Day, which is the new skill or power he was given when his card was rebalanced. You get to place him within 2, it's like a Gamma Leap. So he did that, then he did a medium move which got him right next to the spider portal and also Clint over there. Attacked him with a stab, 5 dice physical. Clint fully blocked it, absolutely no damage. He wasn't even looking to take Clint out, he just wanted 1 damage to get through in order to then try and convert the portal, but he has nothing left, so it's just sitting there. Hawkeye's activating next for the Defenders. He's only done 1 action so far, but we've just got to show you the difference in dice rolls. So he's just doing a basic attack with his arrows into Deadpool, and you can see his roll on the top left. He got 2 wilds, 2 hits and a crit, and the crit converted into another crit. Deadpool, having a reroll with I Know Karate, managed to turn a blank into a wild, so at least he blocked 1, but that was still more than enough that he's definitely going to be dazed. Still going to do Clint's other action, but just showing the ridiculous disparity in general results on the rolls so far. And the rest of Hawkeye's turn played out as such. He paid 2 for Hook Arrow to be placed within 3, then did a medium move and got himself right next to Doctor Strange. He paid 1 power to try and convert the portal that Cable is guarding, needing both dice to be a success thanks to Cable still being there and only getting 1, so he doesn't get moved or anything, but was unable to convert the portal. Well, Psylocke was up next for the X-Force that are not unconscious yet. She moved but stayed within one of the closest spider portal, paid 1 power to convert it. Her role is on the screen right there, and she was able to do so. She then moved up medium again. She's kind of unfortunately stuck with playing catch up to the rampaging Immortal Hulk, but she is at least following behind him as best she can. Last activation of the second round for the Defenders was Iron Fist. He started by doing a Chi Strike, 5 dice energy into Cable. Only did 1 damage to him there, not too great. He then did a Flying Kick, which worked out really well in round 1, and it did not too bad here. It did more than the Chi Strike. It did 2 damage to Cable. He gets to place within 1, he generates 1 flat power, so that's why he's now kind of teleported behind him. He paid 1 power also to convert the portal that Strange and Hawkeye failed, and he managed to do it, getting a blank, a wild, and a hit. So that is now under their control. So they still hold 3 out of the 4, but Logan still gets to activate, so we'll see what he decides to do, because he's the last activation of the second round. Well, not particularly wanting to feed power to anybody before the crossover to the next round, and having very limited options thanks to only having 1 power, Wolverine decided to activate, move down to the spider portal that started near the Defender's deployment line, paid 1 power. He has successfully converted it because it's uncontested, but he did also roll a skull, so he is being moved forcibly here, but he has still successfully converted it. And thanks to Deadpool and Honey Badger being dazed, that takes us to the end of the round, so we'll tally some points. So at the end of Battle Round 2, there is still everything to play for. The X-Force have 2 hammers, they have 2 spider portals, so they gained a total of 4, taking them up to 9 victory points. Wolverine's still got the hammer, and Cable is still holding the other hammer. Yeah, it's Cable. The Defenders, they have the other 2 hammers, and they have the other 2 spider portals, so they gained 4, so a bit better than their first round, taking them up to 7. So 9 plays 7 in the X-Force's favour still, so they are still ahead, not by as much now. I think they were leading by 3 before, now it's leading by 2, but they are ahead. And it is going to be the Defenders though, still taking first activation again as we go into Battle Round 3. So round 3 got started with Stephen Strange activating, and he decided to try and just take out Cable to start with by doing his basic attack, plus 1 die for the hammer he's holding. Cable spent 2 on Telekinetic Shield to be rolling 5 defense dice, I think. As a result, took no damage, so Doctor Strange was like, okay then, how about this one? Used 7 Sons of Cinnabus on him, which you can only use with this version of Doctor Strange, even though the other version of Doctor Strange is the one on the art, I believe. Oh well. Anyway, if it's Doctor Strange's activation and there are 2 other non-dazed allied characters within 2 of him, there are Iron Fist and Hawkeye, he can spend 3 to play this card. He uses the 7 Sons of Cinnabus attack shown above, beam 5, 8 dice, 9 because he has a hammer. And it actually costs 4 power because of his hammer. If this attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, the target enemy character gains the Incinerate special condition. Haven't been mentioning, but anytime Doctor Strange rolls dice once per turn, as long as there's a shield, he gets 1 power. Haven't been mentioning that. Because it is applicable here, because that's why he has enough power. Anyway, he did that. It means Hawkeye takes 1 damage from it, I believe, because he would be caught in the beam. There's no way to place it such that it would only catch Cable. Cable once again spent on Telekinetic Shield, but this time was not so lucky. Took 3 damage, only had 2 health left, so that is him dazed. Oh, he had a hammer. He will be dropping his hammer, and it will actually be dropped because Strange has no power left now, I think. Actually, does he? Oh, he does. He has 1 power. Okay, never mind. He'll pick that up because you can hold multiple hammers. So the Merc with a Mouth Deadpool activated. He used You Can't Spell Legendary Without Leg Day again to place within 2. He then did a medium move which got him to where you can see him. Unfortunately not close enough to try and convert that portal, but he wanted to try and take out Iron Fist because Iron Fist is sitting on enough power to use his namesake, which is a little worrisome for him. So he attacked with a stab again and managed to do 1 damage. Once again, it is very clear who the dice gods are favouring on this day, and it ain't the X-Force, although they're still ahead in points, so you know, they can only complain so much. And we're staying up there because Hawkeye activated and loosed 2 sets of arrows in Deadpool's general direction. The first barrage managed to do 2 damage, he's got 6 health on his dazed side I think. Second set, he managed to fully deflect, dodge, or otherwise not get wounded by the arrows, so not too great there. Well, due to her not being able to help protect any objectives, Honey Badger activated. 1 medium move was not enough to get anyone in range of her attacks. Her Builder and Spender are both range 2, so she couldn't even attack Iron Fist. She had to just do another movement action. She had no other options. She can be a nuisance when she's nearby people, so there is that. So she ended up right next to Doctor Strange. Doesn't matter if she's not near the objective. Again, just she can't contest, hold, or otherwise interact with objectives unless you have that Jonathan Tactics card of hers, but either way. Well, it was time for Danny Rand to activate. Iron Fist went and he spent on the Iron Fist. He was doing it into Deadpool just to remove him from the table. Honey Badger spent on Too Dangerous to Ignore, so she becomes the target of the attack. Other enemy characters within 3 of her still take 1 damage though, so Deadpool did actually take 1 damage because he is within 3 of her. She took 4, which is exactly enough to kill her, so she is out of there. But she saved Deadpool, sort of. For Iron Fist's other action, he just did a basic chi strike into Deadpool. Managed to do 2 damage to him with that, so he is remarkably alive on 1 health remaining. Well, second last activation in this round for the X-Force was Psylocke. You can't see her because Immortal Hulk is so bulbous, but she moved to where the movement marker started, paid 1 power to try and convert this portal. There's her roll. She failed. Then she did another medium move just because she needs to get in there into where the fighting is, so she's kind of ignoring Immortal Hulk to her potential detriment because he is the last activation for the Defenders, so he has no reason to stay around there. I guess he technically could go down to the bottom of the table down here to try and reconvert that portal, but that does not seem worth his threat cost. He basically needs to get stuck in. So what did Big Bad Immortal Hulk end up doing? He spent 3 on a Gamma Leap to place him where you can see him actually, and then actually that means he has another action left because he has only done, he only did a basic attack. So yeah, he did a Gamma Leap for 3. He then spent 3 on Leave Hulk Alone, which is a pick up and throw for size 4 or less terrain or character. He picked up Psylocke, whopped her into Deadpool. She takes 1 set damage. He fully dodged, didn't take any damage. So then he did his first actual action, which was a punch, 8 dice physical. And Deadpool, he is clinging to life because it only did 1 damage. Now that 1 damage is enough that he is actually gone because he had 5 damage on him already. But 8 dice only ending up in 1 damage is not on par with what you would expect. Can't complain because it is enough that Deadpool's out of there. And Hulk actually does still have another action, so we're going to have to roll out another attack now. I forgot he actually only did, he's burned through all his power. He spent 6 power, but he has only done 1 action because the Gamma Leap is what moved him where he's standing. Well, 1 more 8 dice physical basic strike into Psylocke later. He managed to only do 1 damage to her as well. That was 2 sets of surprisingly terrible rolls. That was 16 dice in total rolled across 2 attacks, and each equaled 1 damage, all said and done, so definitely below par results there. The tide might be beginning to shift, but it might be too little too late for the X-Force given that they're 2 down on a 5-wide roster. But either way, it is over to Wolverine to end off the round. And Logan was put in a very difficult position because he couldn't really fandangle his way up to the spider portal that isn't under their control, surrounded by Doctor Strange, Hawkeye and Iron Fist. Nor could he even roll enough dice to even feasibly take it from them because he only rolls 3 and there's 3 of them around it. So he doesn't want to give Immortal Hulk power, it's too late in the game to start trying to kill him. So he just did 2 medium moves back towards the portal down in this direction to start trying to cap that. Because keep in mind, X-Force, they're losing people now obviously, but they're still ahead, so if he can still keep 3 out of the 4 portals under their control, they'll still win just because they are ahead. So he didn't seem to have any other option. If he hadn't been forcibly moved when he converted the portal on the other side of the table, he would have been close enough to make it this turn. So that forced move within 2 might be what costs them. But either way, let's go to scoring. So things are actually hotting up at the end of that turn. The Defenders now have 3 out of the 4 hammers. We'll cover them first this time. 2 on Strange, 1 on Immortal Hulk. That's 3 victory points. They also hold 2 of the portals, the one to the right of your screen and the one at the top of your screen, taking them up to 12. The X-Force has a hammer on Wolverine, and they hold the other 2 in, I keep wanting to call them Inheritor portals. It's the Spider People portals. The one right down here and the one over there. So they only gained 3, but they were ahead to start with by 2. So the swing didn't actually mean anything much because both sides are now even Stevens on 12 victory points apiece. So if any of them can manage to work out how to get 4 victory points, that'll take them to the 16 needed to win. It's if everything to play for. They're drawing. Obviously, it's going to be much tougher on the X-Force now. They're 2 down, but Cable's got a lot of power. Psylocke's got some power to play with, and it's very unlikely any of the defenders will make it down here. So that's basically a guaranteed point right there for them. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. If Immortal Hulk keeps rolling like he rolled in that last turn as well, he's just taking up space, which might make a difference. So the top of, what round are we up to now? Battle round 4? Yeah, I think it is. Immortal Hulk activating, the defenders were going first. Just the way the dazes and KOs have worked out, it's just they've been taking first activation every time, and it really mattered here because Cable was sitting on enough power to do another Askani Sun, and he could have hit 4 of them with it, which almost guarantees he'd heal at least 4 damage, and probably do a lot of damage, at least to Hawkeye, because he's got rubbish defenses. But Hulk activated. He spent on Gamma Burst, his big spend, 10 dice normally, 11 because he's got a hammer, and he did it into Cable, who, as much as he wanted to hold on to that power for Askani Sun, did pay 2 for Telekinetic Shield. It does a guaranteed throw prior to damage being done, so he was thrown into Psylocke for 1 damage. Psylocke managed to mostly dodge him, still took 1 damage, and the Gamma Burst managed to do 6 damage to him, which he doesn't. The target of the attack does not generate power from it, which is the other nice thing about Gamma Burst. But thanks to the throw doing 1 flat damage, it's enough that he's dead. He has 7 health on his flip side, so Cable is out of there. And then with his other actual action, because he has only done the Gamma Burst, he is just doing a basic move, and the reason he's doing a basic move is to come down here, right there, to kind of block Wolverine. If we just move the camera there we go. So he's directly facing. That's a pretty cool visual actually. There was an animated movie that I think was called Wolverine versus Hulk. I remember watching it. Anyway, he doesn't have any power left, so he can't do anything or anything like that, but he's just blocking Wolverine, so Wolverine has to go around him, and because he's on his healthy side, makes it harder for that portal to immediately be taken away from them. So with not many options left, Psylocke activated and did a Telekinetic Assault, I think it's called, her spender, on Iron Fist, managing to do 3 damage, and that dazed him, so he is out of there for the round. She then spent 2 on Telekinetic Combat Intuition, I think it's called, the names of her attacks. It means that she gets a free short move, and then the next Telekinetic Katana attack she does gets 2 dice thrown in. So she did that to get next to the objective. She took a swing at Hawkeye and took him out. 3 damage, that dazes him as well. So she managed to daze 2 of them, but she had no power left over after working all that out to actually try and convert the spider portal that's there. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it's over for them, because Wolverine still gets to activate. At best he's only going to be able to convert one of the portals, but I think if he converts one of the portals and nothing else changes, it would actually be a draw, which would be hilarious. So I guess we'll see. Well, Doctor Strange has to activate. He is the last one who isn't dazed for the defenders. Very carefully measured out, could he, in 2 medium moves, make it to this portal? And the answer is no. Measured it out completely, actually moved him to check, and no, he cannot. So his best option is simply to, well, technically, to do a move action to there, to block that portal, to stop Wolverine being able to try and convert that one. It means that Wolverine might be able to attack him. That might be the best option, because Doctor Strange is holding 2 hammers. He is only missing 1 health, so Logan would have to spike, but that might be the best option. His only other option is to convert, or try and convert, because Hulk's there, the portal there, because he can't get to both. He doesn't have any other additional movement. So does he try? We're going to have to sit and work it out, because I don't think converting that portal is enough. I think he might just have to go for the daze on Doctor Strange, because that would actually win them the game if he had enough power left over to grab the 2 hammers he drops. Yeah, we're going to have to plan it out. Yeah, Wolverine's only option actually was to try and take out Strange to get the 2 hammers on him. He's got 2 power, he could have picked them both up. Had he converted the portal behind Hulk, it wouldn't have made a difference, because at present the defenders are winning by 2. They'll actually go to 17 at the end of the turn, and the X-Force would only go up to 14 or 15, so they definitely would have lost. Had he have taken the 2 hammers from Doctor Strange, they actually would have won. So he went in, he tried with the X-Force reroll, he only managed to get 3 hits through. Strange whiffed his defense roll completely and rolled no successes, but taking that 3 damage, he had 1 on him. That is not enough to take him out. How much health did he have? He has 6, I think. Yeah, he has 6. So, thanks to 2 health, it's going to go to the defenders. You can't blame him for trying. That was the best option. We'll go over the points officially now, but yeah, that he had to try for that. It was the only option. So let's wrap this up officially. Wolverine has a hammer on him for 1. Oh, actually, that means he would have had an extra die. If it's a crit, it might make a difference. No. It would have been another pierce, but there was no successes in the defense roll anyway. So at best, that would have been 1 more damage. So it would have been closer. It would have meant that he survived by 1 instead of 2, but no, it doesn't make a difference. Fair enough. So he had a hammer on him for 1 VP, and they hold 2 of the portals for 2, so that takes him to 15. The defenders, though, Strange has 2 hammers, Immortal Hulk has a hammer, and they hold the other 2 portals, meaning they gain 5, taking them to 17. So 15 plays 17. Still a super close game, despite the X-Force suffering massive casualties. Psylocke going after toward the direction towards Immortal Hulk at the start of the game probably cost them. Her staying closer to Cable and or Wolverine would have been a better idea. Honey Badger was obviously just a 2-threat space filler. Maybe should have brought her Jonathan card to try and hold back that last objective. That might have made a difference, but either way, usually we do a little cut to think things through before talking about the end of the game, but I guess we're just doing it now. Defenders did well, didn't really use a Defenders affiliation, didn't need to. It would only have been super useful against... Ooh. No one really. They're pretty even across the board defense-wise. Yeah, except having higher than a 3. I don't think any of them have a 2 in anything. But either way, Immortal Hulk, despite 1 turn where he just was hopeless, rest of the time, fantastic. 7 threat is a lot, but he feels worth the value because he is very, very powerful, especially with hammers. So yeah, that is going to do it for another one. Don't really have much else to say. This will be available early to channel members, who will get to see this about a week early, give or take. If you want to go above and beyond to support the channel and help keep this possible, that is certainly one way you can do it. You are occasionally granted early access to certain video series. Just as a little boon, I hope it goes some small way to saying thank you for that support. You can also check out the channel sponsor. They carry Crisis Protocol. I know that for a fact because I just picked up some Crisis Protocol stuff from them. So if you do that via the affiliate link, pick yourself out something from any of the games they cover or carry, I will also be compensated, which would be very nice. Either way though, I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you soon for more. Until next time, ta-ta for now.